Hello and welcome back to Grow Your Money. This is Jim Labs Weekly Update, Week 34 of 2026. Week 33 was a relaunch and catch-up episode. Week 34 is a cleanup episode. We are checking the wheel account, closing the first small account CSP sandbox batch, retiring credit spreads from the lineup, and setting up the tracker-based scoreboard for Week 35. I'm still getting back into the rhythm, so I'm not going to fake precision this week. The goal is to clearly show where the lab stands and what gets tracked next. Quick reminder, this video is for education and documentation only. It is not financial advice, and it is not a recommendation to copy my trades. Do your own research. Use position sizing and know the max risk before entering any trade. No guru stuff here. Just rules, results, and lessons learned. Week 34 is a transition episode. Last week we started the public record after the long gap. The week finishes organizing the lab before the weekly scoreboard starts. The important change is that Week 35 becomes the first tracker-based update. Missing weeks will simply mean no episode was produced. I'm not going to backfill numbers or pretend the record is cleaner than it is. So today is about lining up the tests, stating what changed, and getting ready to track consistently. The Gym Labs lineup is now 5 separate forward tests. First is the Gym Wheel and Thinkorswim Paper Money. Second is the small account CSP Sandbox, also in Toss Paper Money. Third is the 0DTE Iron Condor test, which is live and advanced. Fourth is the Schwab Robo-Advisor as an automated benchmark. Fifth is DCA Plus, the rules-based investing. Credit spreads are no longer part of the weekly lineup. I will explain that decision in a moment, but the short version is that they did not fit the beginner small account mission. For the wheel, this week is still a status check, not a full performance report. The account value is $89,677.65. And buying power is currently negative. I need to reconcile exactly why before I let the tracker become the official source of truth. Let's jump into Thinkorswim paper account, look at the current state, and prep the tracker for week 35. Okay, we are logged into our paper accounts, starting with the wheel. We are back up to $89,000. Most of that came from Tesla recovering in price, and that's one of the good reasons why to set that call farther out. So let's open all these up. Amazon, Nvidia, Netflix, Palantir, and we already saw Tesla. So these are progressing along, and we can't do anything with it now. So let's switch over to our Sandbox account for small accounts. And what we see here is they were all bought back. All 5 trades that we placed in week 33 were bought back during the week. And we're not really tracking balance, but it did start out of 100,000. So 155 in a couple of weeks work is pretty good for a small account. These are the wheel positions that were open after week 33. Check-in and are still open in week 34. The small account CSP Sandbox actually has the cleanest update. All 5 CSPs from batch 1 were bought back during week 34. Since batch 1 is closed, I'm going to start batch 2 using the same rules. The point is not to cherry pick one set of trades. The point is to see whether acceptable lower price CSP candidates can be found consistently over multiple batches. I'm also ending the credit spread experiment. They are too time consuming for what I want this series to be. The options play candidates were difficult to reproduce in Thinkorswim, and I do not think the process is simple enough to teach as a beginner small account strategy. That doesn't mean credit spreads do not work. It means they are not a good fit for Gym Labs right now. The 0DTE Iron Condor test stays in the lineup, but it belongs in the advanced category. This is Gym 400 level material. Multi-leg options, fast management, and real execution pressure. I am using options play material as a strategy reference, but I'm not going to reteach every mechanic in the weekly update. Going forward, this section will focus on trades taken, wins and losses, profit or loss, return on buying power when useful, and execution lessons. The tracker will make this cleaner starting in week 35. Robo-Advisor and DCA Plus are now 2 separate tests instead of one combined section. The Schwab Robo-Advisor is a fully automated benchmark. I'm not picking trades or making market zone decisions there. I will track deposits, return, and any rebalancing. DCA Plus is different. It is a rules-based monthly contribution plan. The normal investment never stops, but the reserve behavior follows the DCA plus zone rules. It will track the amount invested, reserve balance, reserve releases, and compare it against a shadow 100% DCA benchmark. So the comparison becomes automation versus rules-based do-it-yourself investing. Heading into week 35, the big job is loading and reconciling the trackers. Week 34 finishes organizing the lab. Week 35 starts the first tracker-based scoreboard. Now the labs has 5 tests, and next week we start tracking them consistently. That wraps up Gym Labs Weekly Update Week 34 of 2026. The big changes are simple. The wheel is still open and needs tracker reconciliation. CSP Sandbox Batch 1 closed and Batch 2 starts. Credit spreads are retired, and Robo-Advisor and DCA Plus are now separate tests. Starting week 35, the tracker should do the heavy lifting. Thanks for following along, and remember, this is for testing. We are not pretending to know the outcome. We are documenting what actually happens. As always, trade the plan, not the panic. See you in the gym.